This is the Let's Go Blues Minute brought to you by Puckdoku, the original hockey doku. Now here's your host, Jeff Ponder.
To quote the great Shorzy, "We'll never lose again." The St. Louis Blues beat the Montreal Canadiens 6-1 at Enterprise Center last night, with Robert Thomas and Philip Broberg each having a goal and 3 assists, and the Blues extended their season-high winning streak to 7 games with a 6-1 victory. St. Louis matched its longest winning streak since November 10th to the 21st, 2022. This was the year they won 4 to open the season, then lost 8, then won 7. What a roller coaster the opening of that season was. Dylan Holloway had a goal and an assist for the Blues, extending his point streak to 8 games with 4 goals and 9 assists. Jordan Kyrou has 12 points, including 7 goals and 5 assists in a 7-game point streak after he scored his 31st of the season. Other goal scorers included Alexander Texier, who tallied his 6th, and Zach Bolduc scored his 15th on the power play, which was the final goal in this game. The Blues improved to 14-2-2 in their past 18 games and pulled to within 2 points of the Minnesota Wild, who have 1 game in hand for the first wild card into the Stanley Cup playoffs. It also remained 4 points ahead of the Calgary Flames, who won 4-3 in overtime against the Seattle Kraken on Tuesday for the second wild card. Calgary has 3 games in hand on the Blues. St. Louis has outscored their opponents 34-10 during their winning streak and have won 8 straight at home. Montreal lost in regulation for just the second time in its past 14 games, going 8-2-4 in that span. We will get to more on this game in just a moment, but let's take a look around the league as the Blues got some help from the Vegas Golden Knights last night. They defeated the Minnesota Wild 5-1. The Wild are in a bit of a tailspin, going 7-8-1 since the Four Nations face-off break. Who would have thought the Blues would be within 2 points of the first wild card at this point in the season? As mentioned earlier, the Flames did get a big OT win against the Kraken last night, despite Seattle holding a 2-1 lead late. But Nazem Kadri and Rasmus Andersson tallied goals in the last 7 minutes of regulation. Seattle's Jordan Eberle tied it with 90 seconds remaining, but Kadri struck again with just over a minute remaining in overtime to win it for Calgary. Let's get to our stat of the day, brought to you by our friends over at Puckpedia.com, where you can find all kinds of great information on contracts and everything else to do with hockey. So let's get back to that Blues and Canadiens game and check into MoneyPuck.com, where the Deserve to Win-O-Meter shows each team's chance of winning the game had the game been reenacted, except with average goaltending for both teams. The meter works by simulating all of the individual expected goals that occurred in the game and resimulates the game 1,000 times. The Blues were victorious 69% of the time, truly displaying how much they dominated play against another hot team. MoneyPuck also generates the amount of expected goals each player had for each team with average goaltending. Zach Bolduc led the way for the Blues, posting an expected .78 expected goals on the evening, with Jake Neighbors posting a .47 and Dylan Holloway with a .44 rounded out the top 3 on the night for both teams. The last stat we will look at includes Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington. MoneyPuck tracks low, medium, and high danger shot attempts against, and the Canadiens shoveled 2 high danger shot attempts against Binnington. He stopped them both, and the only goal against apparently came in a medium danger chance against. I would question that statistic, as Nick Suzuki's goal was an insane tip directly in front of Binnington. I don't expect any tendy in the league to make that save. It just goes to show you can't trust all analytics as a 100% factual story of each game. Next up for the Blues, after going 4-0 on their homestand, they go back on the road for 2 stops in Tennessee and Colorado. First up is the Predators at 7 o'clock tomorrow on Thursday.
Wait, Jeff, one more thing.
Well, let's get into Puckdoku. Yesterday, it was a tie between Bill and I. The uniqueness score was 15-15. I will take this as a win because this was a very goalie-centric game yesterday, and I was able to tie Bill. That is his cup of tea. The best play actually came from me, and I got to give an assist to Bill Day because I wouldn't know this person if he hadn't played him a couple weeks ago. In the Detroit and 10-plus wins in a goalie season, I played Bill Beveridge at 0.1%. He played long before probably any of us that are listening were ever born. As a member of the original Ottawa Senators, Beveridge stayed with the franchise when they relocated to Missouri and played with the St. Louis Eagles. In April 1935, Beveridge was one of several former Eagles and Senators who took part in an exhibition game in Ottawa in which players sported either Eagles or Senators uniforms as they played each other. When the Eagles folded after one season, the players were dispersed in a dispersal draft, and he was picked up by the Montreal Canadiens for 4,000 big ones. However, he never played for the Canadiens, being sold to the Montreal Maroons.
This was the Let's Go Blues Minute powered by Puckdoku. Remember to tune into Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast and webcast. Available wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube and Facebook. Until next time, hosers.